All right, the mountain of God. Who went there? Where is it? Why does it matter? We're talking about the mountain of God. Who went up there? Why does it matter? And what does it mean for us today? So let's set the scene. Mountains are always places of encounter, aren't they? High up, the air is thin, and it feels like heaven touches earth. And in Scripture, the mountain of God is where heaven really does meet earth, where God's presence is revealed. So who went up this mountain of God? Well, let's start with Moses. You probably remember the story in Exodus 3, 1 through 2. Moses is just out there tending his sheep, minding his own business. Now Moses was tending to the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire in the midst of a bush. Now this mountain, Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai, is where Moses first encounters God. The Hebrew word for mountain, har, reminds us it's not just a physical place, but a place where people are lifted up into something greater, something holy. Moses encounters the angel of the Lord, and God speaks to him, and everything changes. He's sent back to Egypt to free God's people. But that's not the last time Moses goes up this mountain. Fast forward to Exodus 19. The Israelites are now at the foot of the same mountain. Moses ascends again, and this time God comes down in fire and thunder. The earth shakes, and the people tremble. Exodus 19:18 says, "Now the Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like a smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly." Now Moses goes up alone, into the very presence of God. And what does he bring down? The law, the commandments that would shape Israel's relationship with God. The Hebrew word for commandment, mitzvah, means not just a rule, but a directive from the heart of God. This mountain was where Moses became the mediator of the covenant, bridging the gap between God and his people. But it wasn't just Moses. The prophet Elijah also finds his way to this mountain of God. In 1 Kings 19, 8 through 9, after running from Jezebel, Elijah goes to Horeb, the same mountain where Moses encountered God. And it says, "So he arose and ate and drank, and he went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights as far as Horeb, the mountain of God." Now Elijah doesn't encounter God in the earthquake, or fire, or wind, but it's in the still, small voice. The Hebrew word here for voice, kol, can also mean sound or call. It's personal, it's quiet, it's intimate. Elijah, like Moses, is reminded that God's presence isn't just in the powerful moments, it's in the quiet whispers. Now we can't forget the time when Aaron and his sons and the 70 elders also ascended the mountain. In Exodus 24, 9 through 11, they didn't just watch from afar, they went up and saw God. What's amazing here is that they ate and drank in his presence. It says, "Then Moses went up, also Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and it was like the very heavens in its clarity." Now, this just wasn't any ordinary mountain to climb. They experienced the kind of communion with God, a foreshadowing of fellowship that we have with him through Christ. The Greek word for fellowship, koinonia, is what in this moment on the mountain anticipates. A relationship where God and man meet, not just in commands, but in communion. So let's fast forward to the New Testament, to Jesus. The Mount of Transfiguration in Matthew 17. It's another symbolic parallel to the mountain of God. Jesus goes up, and there he's transfigured. His face is shining like the sun. His clothes is white as light. Who shows up? Moses and Elijah. The two men who had ascended from the mountain of God now stand with Jesus, and God's voice declares, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Now here, we see the fullness of the law represented in Moses and the prophets represented in Elijah, coming together in Jesus. The mountain is a place of revelation of who Jesus really is, God the Son. So where is this mountain? Well, traditionally it's believed to be Mount Sinai, located in the Sinai Peninsula of modern-day Egypt. Some suggest it could be in Saudi Arabia or southern Jordan, but these locations do not fit biblical timelines. It's the place where God's presence was made manifest in thunder, fire, and quiet whispers, where God's law was given and His glory was revealed. So what does this mean for you and me today? Today, you don't have to climb a physical mountain to meet God. He's given us His Word and His Spirit, and an open invitation to come boldly before His throne. We have access to the same God who met Moses in the fire, who whispered to Elijah, and who transfigured before His disciples. In closing, you may not need to literally climb a mountain, but have you sought after Him? Have you desired to meet with God, your Creator? He will meet us where we are in life, in any situation, but He demands an effort on our part. We must go and seek after Him, and He promises if we do that, we will be saved. And remember, He will give you the strength to climb, the words to speak, and the grace to be transformed. So until next time, be strong and of good courage. God bless.